Hello everyone. So today's topic is going to be over dividing decimals. Half of this is going to be a review from 6th grade and the other half is going to be brand new. So before we get started, all right, we need to look at some different division symbols. So here are some of the different symbols you will see. We are used to this symbol and this symbol. Okay, what we are not used to is using the fraction as a division symbol. All right, all of these mean the same thing. We also have the vocabulary words of dividend, where the number is on the inside, and divisor, which is the number on the outside. So if I had the problem of 12 divided by 3, the 12 would be the dividend and the 3 would be the divisor. Now, let's talk about what happens when I have a fraction. So for example, 15 over 3. How do I know which number goes inside? Well, whatever number is on top in your numerator spot will go underneath. Whatever number is on bottom in your denominator will go on the outside. One way to help you remember this is if you've ever seen Finding Nemo, our characters Nemo and Dory. Okay, we're going to have the numerator stand for Nemo and the denominator stand for Dory. So in Finding Nemo, Nemo gets captured by the dentist. So that is why underneath we have our numerator. So in that situation, it'd be 15, where Dory, the denominator, is out swimming free. Hopefully that helps you remember which number goes underneath. All right. So let's review how to divide decimals by a whole number. So let's say I have the problem of 1.2 divided by 2. The number that goes underneath is the number that comes first. So I have 1.2 and then 2 on the outside as my divisor. So step 1, write the problem in a long division sign. I did that. The next thing is to bring the decimal straight up to the answer. So I take this decimal here and I bring it straight up. It stays in that spot. Now I can go through and start dividing. So 2 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 12 6 times. So I should get as my final answer 0.6. Now, what is new to us is dividing decimals by decimals. So if I have the problem of 1.27 divided by 0.3. Okay, I got to do like I did before and set up my problem using the long division sign. Now before, I would just move the decimal straight up. I cannot do that in this problem yet. Okay, my first step is to move the decimal in the divisor to the end of the number. So basically, I take the number on the outside and I have to make it into a whole number. So if I look, I have my decimal here. I need to move it over once. So now that number becomes a 3. Now, what I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside as well. Since I moved it once here, I need to move this decimal over once as well. So now this becomes 12.7. Now I'm back to what we are used to, dividing a decimal by a whole number. Now I can move on to step 3 and bring that decimal straight up. Once I do that, now I am able to solve. So 3 goes into 12 4 times. Now, Some of us are like, oh, well, I have a remainder. We don't do remainders in 6th grade. We keep going. So 3 can go into 7 2 times. I'm going to add a 0, keep going. That can go in 3 times. And we're just going to cut it off for right now, and we'll talk about repeating decimals later. So I get 4.23 as my answer. So once again, in 6th grade, we don't use remainders. You add a 0 and keep going. So here are some examples here that I want you to try on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and give it a try. All right, so for number 1, hopefully yours is set up like mine, okay, where we move the decimal once. So I have to move it once underneath as well. So now it becomes 327.6 divided by 63. And if you finish showing your work, you should have gotten for a final answer of 5.2. All right, now number 2. It says a pharmacist put 1.248 ounces of pills into the bottles. If each bottle has 0.024 ounces of pills, how many bottles were used? So the number that should go underneath my division sign is 1.248, and 0.024 is on the outside. I have to move it on the outside 3 times. Therefore, this becomes 24. And I have to move it underneath 3 times as well. Now I don't have any decimals I have to move up, so I can just divide like normal, and I should get for my final answer 52. So let's talk about your assignment for today. If you head on over to classwork and scroll down to week 6, I have my 921 or 922, depending if you're an A or a B day, decimals homework. I'll click on that form, and this is going to be a combination of multiplying and dividing decimals. So scrolling through this, all right, I see some are going to be multiple choice. Others are going to be where you type it in. Okay, we have some word problems. And then starting at question 6, we have our multiplication. Okay, so be careful when you are solving through this. Take your time. You should be using another piece of paper to show your work. Don't just try and do this in your head. All right, if y'all have any questions, please reach out to your teacher.